Yo, what's up, dogs? I am back once again with another movie review, and today we're going to be discussing the good, the bad, and the silly about a little film called Tron Ares. Now, I went and saw this movie last week, Sunday in the afternoon, around 12:30 in the afternoon. I got the full concessions, popcorn, Coke Zero, and the Reese's Pieces peanut M&M kind of thingy that they have. They're delicious, but they're not as good as peanut butter M&Ms. Let's not get crazy here, but they will do in these times of treatness. I can't wait till they bring back M&Ms to my multiplex. But whatever, that's a different day, a different rant. The turnout, not so good. I have to be honest with you. I think it was at least 10 people, and the only good thing about the turnout was there was a group of young, let's say young adults, and that was good because the youth were coming to see Tron, and I thought that was a good thing. However, they also had some siblings with them that did not stop running around the theater, and they weren't causing too much of a distraction, but they caused enough of a distraction where the ushers actually had to show up multiple times to tell these kids to sit down and be quiet. You know what I'm saying? So there was a little disruption. However, I saw it on Screen X, and I was dead center on the screen and I was locked in. So let's get on with the good. Here we go. Right off the hop, I have to tell you guys the audio and visual spectacle of Tron Ares is insane. It was so freaking good. Like I said, I saw it in Screen X, and the screen it like wraps around you, right? And I was just like into it. It never took me out because I have good peripherals. You know what I'm saying? And the opening sequence with the Nine Inch Nails song going on, and you're going through cyberspace, and I almost tripped out. Like, literally, I had to shake my head for a second there and be like, dude, we're still on planet Earth. Like, do not trip right now. And I was, hey, there was no narcotics going on in my system at this point in time at all. I was unassisted on the trip. And this movie almost, the whole visual thing almost made me trip. It almost made me leave consciousness and go into the grid. That's how crazy this was. I was like, I was in. I was in. And the music, I have to say, like, and let's, like, I'm talking like, guys, every visual thing that you saw in that trailer or any of the trailers lived up to expectations on the big screen. It truly, like, I don't care about anything else right now. The visuals, the light cycles, the grids, the just oh man, the fight sequences when you get into NCOM's grid, it looks beautiful. Like, it just everything just looks so beautiful, so sci-fi, and just so nice. Like, yeah, you can see the money on the screen just on the visuals effects alone. And like the light cycles looked great. Like, oh man, it just was a feast for the eyes. And then you add on top of that the great Nine Inch Nails soundtrack that is involved, and it's just like non-stop foot tapping, like everyone's saying. It's just a non-stop, relentless beat just going on in the back, and you're just like vibing along with it. And yeah, you know what? And I loved it all. Like, I played the soundtrack as soon as I got in my car and drove home. You know what I'm saying? I was into Nine Inch Nails soundtrack for this movie. I really enjoyed it. And now I know there's going to be people out there that are going to be like, "Oh, Daft Punk did better in Legacy. Nine Inch Nails, this one sucks." And I can't join in on this argument at all because, like, I was there. When Daft Punk came on the scene in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? And Nine Inch Nails came in on the scene in the 90s. And both these bands are influential into my own musical taste. I love Daft Punk. I will always love Daft Punk. I still listen to Daft Punk to this very day. And the same with Nine Inch Nails. They're both so influential to me that I can't pick one over the other who has the better soundtrack because they're both two different styles. Like Daft Punk to me is like my introduction to French house music. You know what I'm saying? French disco house is that, and then like Nine Inch Nails is like the introduction to industrial music and that whole era of stuff too, right? And so they're both very specific to me. I love them both. They both did a great job on both projects. And I also wanted to point this out. Okay, because like I looked at the Nine Inch Nails soundtrack and also Tron Ares isn't actually about any like it is it's all about the Dillinger Corporation, right? And so the Nine Inch Nails soundtrack is the theme of the evil empire, right? The evil Dillinger Empire. Whereas like the Daft Punk's soundtrack is the theme for the grid over there, which was Encom or Flynn's grid at that point in time. I don't think he had. I can't remember if it was still Encom in Legacy. I kind of misremember that, but it's two different vibes. So it also like so the Nin soundtrack really works in this movie because of uh what it is thematically, as it is the evil corporation's grid music. You know what I'm saying? And we hang out with Dillinger a lot in this movie, a lot. So it just suits it. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I listened to it. So let's go on. We have the light cycles. I really enjoyed every single second the light cycles were on the screen. I was a little worried that they were going to overuse the Tron, I guess I would say the Tronness in the real world, but I just really liked it. Like every single time the cycle was on the screen, I'm like, yeah, this is the money right here. Like this is why we watched Tron in the first place. It's for the light cycles. It's for the crazy red trail behind the Tron Ares light cycles or the Dillinger cycles. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like it was just beautiful. It just looked great the whole time, and like there were practical light cycles that they built for this movie as well. And then I just would like to point out that we did get an Akira slide in this movie, and I was sitting there, I'm like, ho ho, Akira slide, thank you very much. Like I enjoyed it. I don't know if anyone else around me caught it, but I liked it. I was like, thank you. Next, we have I liked the fight sequences that we did have in this movie. There is only a couple. I felt like there wasn't enough, but what we got was good because we got a good fight sequence when when Ares and his crew, which is like Athena and some other people, we'll get to her in a second. Um, they hack into Encrom's grid slash server, and they have a really good fight sequence in there. And then there's also a fight sequence at the end with Athena, which is a really good sequence. I really enjoyed that as well. When I mean fight sequences too, I'm meaning like hand to hand combat, martial arts in this movie. And there's a couple. I wish there was a little bit more. That's just me because I really like good fight sequences. And I thought, these were good. I enjoyed them. What we got, I enjoyed. Now, this the black goo 3D printer and the rules. This could have went into the silly, but I liked the visual of it. Like I really like this sci-fi concept of like, because like if you've ever watched 3D printing, it's very basic right now. It's very interesting, but it's very rudimentary and small scale. So seeing it on this bigger scale and what the concepts behind it in this black goo that's 3D printing out these armored tanks and Ares like these AI, what's the word I'm looking for? These AI soldiers that come out of all this goop and they're animatronic and ready to go and ready to like all that. Like I just really like the way it looked. Now I think it is in my silly. I'll have to remind myself. So it might be in there. We'll cover it anyways. Now the downside is I kind of wish they just spent like 5 minutes explaining the technology, like how does this really work. You know what I'm saying? And I did like the rules that they gave to the Dillinger Corporation's products that they print out, which means they can only last 29 minutes in the real world. And this is the backbone to the whole story, right? Like when Ares is put into the real world, he can only last for 29 minutes. And he has a really good sequence when he's introduced into the real world, and it kind of is very Blade Runner-y to me, very Blade Runner to me. And I'll try and I'll just mention it now. No, I'll mention it later. But there is a sequence in this movie where he sees rain for the first time, and he like talks about it in a very like sci-fi nerdy way, like more of the actual elements that make up rain and what it does. And it just reminded me of Blade Runner. I know it's not Blade Runner, but it's just seeing synthetics in the rain. It's just Blade Runner. You know what I'm saying? But I liked it. I was like, cool. So let's get on to my favorite character in this movie, which I know we probably should all be saying that Ares is your favorite character, but I really, really, really liked Athena, played by Jodie Turner Smith, in this movie. I enjoyed her so freaking much from the moment she's on this. There's like, she's so menacing, and she becomes more of a threat as the movie goes on. So you see her arc from just being a simple AI construct that listens to her orders to eventually going overboard with the orders. Like, she never loses track of the orders in her programming, but she gets to a point where she's going to stop at nothing to meet the agenda, like to meet the goal. You know what I'm saying? And there is a funny scene in this movie that, well, there's a couple funny scenes in this movie, where Athena is chasing down Eve Kim in a parking lot, and it's the spiral one that goes all the way up, something that you would see from Tokyo Drift, right? And Eve is at the top, and she throws Athena down, and you just hear Athena start running up the ramp, and it's all you hear is just this clup 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 clup, and it goes on for a little bit, and you're just like, I'm trying not to laugh at it because it just sounds so weird. It is funny, but she's in her like T1000 mode. She's just like clup clup, coming after you, right? So there's a little menacing part to it, but I thought it was too funny where I was just like, are you guys really keeping this in here? But I really thought Athena is a scene stealer. Her projection, she gets so menacing though. Like at near the end of the movie, she stops at nothing to get to the end goal, and she kills people. She kills Dillinger's mom, or Julian Dillinger's mom, because she's getting in the way. She's going to kill Julian himself because he's getting in the way of the objective, right? And she pulls out all the stops and does not stop until Ares stops her. You know what I'm saying? She gets close to killing Eve. Like, it's really good. She's menacing. I thought she was a great villain, and not a lot of people are talking about her. I have no. This order is horrible. Okay, so let me get into here before we talk about the mid-credit scene. Okay, so the Eve Kim character, played by Greta Lee, her little quest, it's okay. I wasn't going to put it in the bad or the silly. I don't have an okay port, but her story is very straightforward. Okay, she is the CEO of Encom, and her goal in the movie is to find the permanence code, which is which is what her sister was after, but her sister passed away. So Eve takes up the mantle, the torch, so to speak, to find the permanence code and finish her sister's lifelong work, right? And so she's trying to find this code, and so she goes, and it's in my silly section, but she goes to this Alaskan outpost, which is absolutely silly, and finds the old 1982 floppy drives, and I'll explain it when we get to the silly. And finds out that's where the permanence code, like, she has the copy of the permanence code now. She understands it, and she has it, and so she puts it on her little disc thingy. Oh man, speed stick. Or yeah, that's what I used to call them, speed sticks. I don't know if we call them that anymore, but yeah, her speed stick, and she's off to the races. Okay, and we'll just leave it right there. But that's her whole story. Is let me add in, the other thing is the reason why she wants the permanence code is because she technically, like, the most sci-fi way to roundabout go to this is she wants to make Star Trek replicators. So, like, if you remember in Star Trek, replicators that just make food out of out of nothing, that's what she wants to do. And this idea is awesome to me. I was like, yeah, let's make, like, this is like the origin story to the Star Trek replicators. You know what I'm saying? So with replicators, you could replicate anything, and that would just destroy the world economy, and everyone would be like better off. And it's essentially, I think that is the catalyst of what makes Star Trek work. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole thing, everything's fixed because of the permanence code and replicators, right? So that's her whole thing. So now we have Julian Dillinger, played by Evan Peters, who is really good as a bad guy. I do enjoy him, and he is like a power coder, and he will do anything he can do to get the permanence code, because his whole thing is he wants to bring his military element into the real world, which is what they show us at the beginning with the 3D printer and the rules of 29 minutes and all that. He wants the permanence code so he could have an endless army and just wipe out anybody. You know what I'm saying? So and he needs that code so his entities don't diminish or devolve in 29 minutes. Okay, so that's his whole drive, and he'll stop at nothing. And he hacks into NCOM. He sends out minions to kill Eve Kim to capture the permanence code. He downloads Eve Kim into the the Dillinger grid and tries to steal her disc because once she sees it, it's a silly rule. I should have put this in the silly because once she sees the code, but this is a silly rule that's always been in all of Tron, right? Specifically Legacy, it becomes part of your disk, and your disk has all of your information that you've ever learned in your entire life, so you can go through it. So if they can get her disk inside Dillinger's server, then they have the copy of the permanence code. So that's what they're after. It's her disc, and then eventually she gets out and all that jazz, and the disc blows up and things, whatever. So the next good thing, I did like um, Ares, played by Jared Leto. His little quest is very straightforward. Very straightforward. He okay, like a part of me is like he didn't really care. Okay, there's a couple things. Okay, let's start here first. First thing I liked about him was the very beginning. Um, when they created him, which Dillinger's like typing out like the prompts, AI prompts, and they show inside the grid the AI prompts of him training. Ares is being trained through the prompting, and I just thought that was super smart, like very like 2025 type of what's going on in technology, right? And seeing how it correlates into the grid where it's like waves of minions are coming after him and he dies, and then another wave of minions come after him but he does better but he still dies, and he's like becoming the best fighter possible, right? And he becomes eventually Master Control, right, which is like a top end tier fighter in this world. And I just really love that opening sequence for Ares. And we don't even know like we don't even see Jared Leto's face right away, right? We don't see it until later, until he starts questioning the code and the commands, and he starts thinking about things. And when I was watching this, I was really thinking that they're stealing from um Star Wars Force Awakens with the character Finn, who wakes up from his programming of being a clone, a stormtrooper clone, right? Or stormtrooper, sorry. And it kind of just reminded me of that, where he like wakes up from the training or the programming, and he's like questioning everything, and he becomes his own person. And I was thinking the same thing is happening with Ares in this movie, where it's like as the movie goes on, he goes from being uh, a loyal minion to the Dillinger Corporation to having questions, which makes him questions the command in the programs and the prompts, which makes him act out. And then eventually it makes him want to become a human because he's starting to have feelings. And it's a good story arc for this character because he has it's just a good story arc. I thought it was. Maybe I'm silly, but I thought it was. And then when he has the conversation with Flynn inside the original server, which we'll get to the silly on that one. When he sits down and has an actual conversation with Flynn, it's a good conversation because Jeff Bridges really brings it out of like it's the way he talks to the program, right? Which is still Ares is still a program at this point in time, and he's questioning him, and he's seeing the program actually thinking and having feelings, and they're like discussing Depeche Mode, and it's like because like Kevin Flynn in the grid is like the highest elevation or evolutionary concept in this movie in the world of Tron, next to Cora, which is an ISO, which we don't know much about her, but like Kevin Flynn is like God in this world, right? And just the way he's talking to like this program and helping him like nudge him a little bit to get to his feelings was a nice touch. And then that's the catalyst for him to be like he gets the permanence code. He transforms from a robot into a boy, so kind of Pinocchio-ish too, right? But it's a good story arc. I was into it the whole time, and like I mentioned, they go back to the 1980s original server to find the permanence code because for some reason it's hidden in there. I think I put that in the silly. And it just looked cool because it did the throwback to the 82. Was it 82? Yeah, whatever. Tron 80s. I think it is 82, where it has the old school graphics on them with the decoloration of the faces and stuff, the black and white with the Tron outfits well, they had the modern Tron outfit on, but it still just had that old school aesthetic, and it even had the old school world, and it also had the crack in the wall and everything for him to escape. Like it was well thought out, and I thought that was just a beautiful nod to Tron fans in general, and I really liked it. Okay, so kill me. Sue me. I loved it. I loved it. I had such a good time. Anyways, let's get to the bad though, okay? Because I totally understand where people are coming from when they see this movie and go, "Where is the following?" Because I get it, okay? I get it. Because I too also really enjoyed Legacy and I wanted more of these characters to be in this movie, but maybe we'll get them in the next movie. We'll see how everything plays out here. But first things first, let's just start with where is Sam Flynn and Cora? Okay. Now, I do not like how they just waved away Sam Flynn's character by saying, oh, he retired from NCOM and he's kind of disappeared with Cora. No one knows where they are, okay? Until the very end of the movie, which we'll get to. I didn't get to the Oh, okay, I forgot to talk about the mid-credit scene, so I'll mention that now. So they do show Korra so Ares becomes human and he's on his own quest, right? Like he doesn't hang out with Eve or anything like that. They kind of go their own way. Eve has the permanence code and she's going to take NCOM to a totally new direction with the replicator. At least that's what we can assume, right? The Dillinger Corporation is gone, and that was freaking cool. Oh, I forgot to put that in the good. That was so good because that was so good. I totally forgot to put that in the good. So anyway, we'll get to Dillinger. We'll get to it. So Dillinger's dead, and he's stuck in the okay, okay, hold on. So at the end of the movie, I have to mention this because it was so good, so good. Okay, so Julian is confronted by the cops are coming to raid his warehouse where the server is and the Dillinger Corporation technology is and all that stuff. And his mom's dead there, right? So he looks like a criminal. Athena's dead. Everything in Tron, like that, all the constructs that they made are all like dying out and stuff like that. And the cops are coming to raid him and arrest him. So what does he do as a last ditch effort? He downloads himself into his own Dillinger's server, which has been nuked by NCOM because they hacked in there and nuked it because they had to nuke it to shut down the constructs to help Ares and Eve win. It was awesome. I don't care. And so he goes into his old server or his old grid, and it's just a wasted. Like it's like a nuke just went right through and just wasted everything. All the beautiful buildings are gone and stuff. Nothing's left, and he's just there alone in his own server, right? And it's awesome. That's a great way to end this movie. So then I loved it. I loved it. I should have put it in the great. I don't know why I didn't. It was so good. Um, so then, yeah, at the end of the movie, like I said, Ares is a human being now, and he's traveling the world, having human experiences. And along his journey, he like writes a postcard to Eve, telling her like, "Hey, I'm alive, doing well. Hope everything's going good." She's running the corporation, and so he has a postcard or a photo from Cora with some coordinates on it, which looks like she's probably living on a boat somewhere. And it looks like it's setting up for Ares is going to go meet Cora and find out more about the ISOs. So maybe if we get a fourth movie, that's where we're going to be going. But I really understand why everyone could have been like, we should have had these guys in this movie. Because Sam Flynn could have been Eve Kim, and Cora could have been Ares. You know what I'm saying? Like they could have done that, and like I don't know. There's a way this all works out, and we probably would have been more happier. But the way things are right now, this is what we got, and it sort of connects everything to Legacy a little bit, not enough, and I get that. I wish there was more, but hopefully we get a fourth, and they really lean into Sam Flynn, Cora, um, and others, right? So the one, oops, oops, wait, oh no, I scrolled out here. So the other question I was like, what happened to Kevin Flynn, right? Because at the end of Legacy, he like nukes NCOM's server in a sense and kind of just disappears, right? But he's alive. We know he's. I think doesn't he? Isn't he alive at the end? I totally forget. I think he is. I think he typed something on the screen. I can't remember. I have to rewatch it. I had just rewatched it like 3 months ago. But it's like what happened to him? And in the server in the 82 server, he doesn't mention anything about it, right? Which made me sit there and think, is there multiple iterations of Kevin Flynn in different servers, or is he the same Flynn across all the servers? But he just didn't feel like mentioning what happened to him in Legacy. I don't know. I didn't. I kind of wish we had more of that. That was like a bad for me. Then there's where's Edward Dillinger, who is in Legacy, played by Killian Murphy, and he's in it for like let's just say 2 minutes tops, and he disappears for the rest of Legacy, and you never see him again. And according to people online, and I did some half-ass internet research that Edward Dillinger is related to Elizabeth Dillinger, played by Gillian Anderson, and so they are brother and sister. And Julian is obviously the son from Elizabeth. So maybe Edward Dillinger comes back in the fourth one now that she's dead and she's no longer in charge of the company. But they kind of just waved Edward Dillinger off as well, and they don't even mention him. They don't even show a photo of him, a picture of him. I don't even think they said his name because they showed Dillinger Sr. in an oil painting, but they never mentioned Edward. So I'm kind of curious as to what was going on with that. Again, they could have done something with it, but maybe Edward Dillinger to me should have been Julian, right? So Edward should have been Julian and going through all this stuff. But I don't know. Maybe he'll come up in the fourth one. So here's the big one for me: is where is Tron? The movie is called Tron Ares, and Tron is the hero from Tron 1 and 2. Well, not in 2. He's a. I don't want to spoil Tron 2, but he's not the hero. But he's the hero in Tron 1, right? It's about Tron, which is a code, who is a hero, and he kicks butt. And I honestly thought they could have had Tron appear in this movie. But again, Tron's super overpowered, so I don't know how it would work out because Tron Tron dies at the end of Legacy that we think, right? He falls away into the ocean or whatever, into the depths of the ocean. And then there's a scene in this movie which is awesome where the Dillinger Corporation hacks into the NCOM server, and it's Ares with Athena and a couple other crew members, right? And they hack in because they're trying to get the no, they're trying to find the access. They're trying to find where Eve Kim is in the world right now because she's hidden, right? She's on a secret mission, but it's on the NCOM servers, and they need to find where that is so they can get to her because she knows where the permanence code is. Okay, so when they hack into it, it's a great scene, and you see Ares and his crew, the Dillinger Corp, like start fighting everyone that's inside like the virus protectors of Encrom, and it's such a great scene. But I was sitting there going, "Oh my God, is Tron going to show up?" And they could have had Tron just show up out of nowhere, like, and then everyone just would stop. And he could have two discs, like make him look cool and like a new outfit, and just be like, or even like because like there's hacking going on, right? They could have had one of the programmers on the Encrom side being like, yo, release the Tron, like release the Tron, like they could have done it, and then Tron could have been released and just showing up in the god mode. Tron's here, right? Like he's the most powerful dude. Then that's when you drop a secret Daft Punk song, which would be the Tron theme, with a remix of Nine Inch Nails remixing a Daft Punk song, which would be the Tron theme. And it would just be insane, and we would have all lost our minds because then Tron would have came and kicked everyone's ass because it doesn't matter if they die, they get rebooted up in the Dillinger's world anyways, right? So as long as they can get away with the right information, it doesn't matter, right? So it'd just be freaking cool just to see Tron show up for like 10 minutes and just beat the crap out of everyone, like all of Ares' crew. Because like Ares' team was winning and beating up all the virus protectors. That's what I call them in the Encrom server. But just imagine if the ultimate freaking cleaner just shows up and is freaking Tron. He just pull like comes out of the water, so to speak, and you're like, holy crap, it's Tron. That would have been so sick. And he just beats up everybody. That'd be awesome. It'd be so awesome. Okay, I can't go on anymore. It'd be so awesome. Just let me work for them, guys. Just let me be the hype man, the idea man in the corner, being like, "This is what we need. This would make money." anyways. Okay, the next thing that's kind of bad. I was gonna put it in the silly, but also it's you can kind of wave it away. But I love sci-fi movies and I love sci-fi technology that is in movies. But what this movie lacks in is explanation of what the sci-fi technology is actually doing and how it works. You know what I'm saying? It does an okay job at it, but I want more. I just want a little more nerdiness in there. But that's just me. We could have put that in the silly. It doesn't take me out of the movie or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So maybe we'll put that in the silly. That's Yeah, put it in the silly. So let's go to this. This shouldn't be a bad, but it is because Gillian Anderson is a dope actress and she plays Elizabeth Dillinger, right? And the problem with this character is I don't think she was used well enough. You know what I'm saying? She's the CEO of the company. Her son Julian is running amok, just doing the craziest things, trying to get the permanence code right, and he's doing a lot of illegal procedures. And she's just kind of like, "Don't stop, please. You shouldn't do that. You're going to ruin the company. You're going to tank our stocks." And it's kind of like, girl, you need to do more. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I think it was just a kind of a bummer that she didn't get to be a little bit more important. That's the thing I think it was. It's like she's like it's nice to see her. I'm always going to be appreciative of Gillian Anderson in a movie or on the screen because she's great. But I just feel like she was underutilized in this movie, and just yeah, yeah, underdeveloped, underutilized character. That's my problem with her. And yeah. So, anyways, let's go to the silly. Wait, hold on. We'll go here first. Let's go here back to the mid credit scene because I didn't get to go to that part yet. So the mid credit scene, oh, it's freaking awesome, man. Because like they show, so Dillinger's in his own in his own grid, and yeah, he looks at the grid. It's a big wasteland, right? And he turns around and there's a disc on the freaking mantle. And I was sitting there, I'm like watching it. I'm like, holy crap, that's an original disc. Like, and I mean like an '82 Tron server disc, right? And it looked so freaking cool. And I'm like looking at it, I'm like, I was just like, "There's what is this? Like, what are they doing with this disc?" But it's the old disc, and he grabs the disc and he downloads Sark in his the Sark outfit with the M and the craziness from the '82 Tron. Like, I was just sitting there, I'm like, "Holy crap!" I could not believe that they did that. That's like a crazy pull. I don't even think many people understand the mid credit scene, but I was just like, "Oh man, that's wild! I can't believe they're doing that." So I really liked it. I appreciated it, and his name is Sark, right? Sark, or is this Sarak or something like that? But I really appreciated it, and I was like, "That's freaking cool, man! The good callback." And it made me curious as to what the hell is going to go on in Tron 4. Like, give me Tron 4. I wonder. Yeah, just give me Tron 4. So let's go to the silly. Okay, so the Alaskan outpost is absolutely silly, okay? Because there's a scene where Eve and her sidekick go to Alaska to this outpost, and she's like, "Yeah, this is where Kevin Flynn put a secret outpost back in the '80s in Alaska with all of his old tech and floppy disks, and that's where the permanence code could be." Inside these floppy disks, and there's just tons of floppies all over the place. And I'm sitting there, I was just like, that part, I was just like, that's stupid. That's dumb. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't make any sense. Because we all know Flynn in the '80s is a programmer who makes video games. You know what I'm saying? He's not this god tier programmer guy like he is in Legacy, and he's only like that in Legacy because he's permanently in the grid. Right now, there could be a timeline between '82 and when he's not in the grid, right? Because I know he gets permanently downloaded into the grid and stays there forever because he disappears. And that's at the beginning of Legacy. And he's younger. but I can't remember the timeline. If it's like 1990, I can't remember. So there could be a small window of where, you know, Kevin Flynn is just coding out the wazoo, right? Because when he's inside the grid, he becomes like, he even says it in Legacy where he's like, him and the ISOs worked like wonders on a code level that's never before been seen before, right? So I was kind of sitting there going, okay, maybe in Legacy, this is how he figured out the permanence code with the ISOs, and none of that is explained in this legacy at all. You know what I'm saying? And this is just me kind of like trying to put it all together. Like, how could he have done this back in the day when he was just a video game programmer? You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't like, none of this mumbo jumbo was really a thing. And he secretly put it away, right? So the other thing that's really weird, and it comes down way down the line at the end of the movie, and this is silly, is like Eve's like, wait a minute, the permanence code should be in the original 1982 server. And you're kind of sitting there going, huh? How is that possible? Right? Like, that's like, how? And that's all I was sitting there thinking about it. And so she's like, oh, if we download Ares into the server, he can find the permanence code and come back with it and give it to us. And then we can have the permanence code and save the day. Right? Right. And no one knows that there's a Kevin Flynn uh, no one knows that Flynn's inside the 82 server. So it's just like, I just thought it was weird. And when he's in there, like Ares is in there and he has a great conversation and he's like, oh, you're looking for the permanence code. And it's just like, Flynn, how do you know this? When did you make it? That's the main thing, okay? Anyways, let's go on to the next thing. So this is silly to me because when you're watching this movie and the light cycle, it's like all the light cycle trails and anything else that emits a trail, you're kind of sitting there wondering, how long do these trails stay in the real world for? Like, when do they digitalize? You know what I'm saying? Because these trails are physical entities in this world. They slice cars. They become ramps. Like, they're dangerous, right? And they're all over this town. And I was just sitting there, I'm like, how long does it take for them to just like disappear, right? And there's one scene where she crashes the bike, and I was like watching it. I was sitting there, I wasn't paying attention to anything else on the screen. And I was like, huh, I wonder when that thing's like, when's it gonna stop? You know, or like delete itself. And they show it, it comes up and disappears. But I was like, it's unreliable throughout the rest of the movie. I was sitting there the whole time, not the whole time, but many times. I'm like, I wonder how long these last for. I would like that to explain to me. Because they're long trails too. Like, I'm not kidding you. They're like zip, 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 like exactly what you see in the video game. They pull it off in the real world. And I'm like, these are long ass trails that never disappear. But I guess they do eventually. But they don't really go into that. Okay, so the last thing I thought was kind of funny was like, no one really brought it up. Like, it's brought up once, right? Where Ares is like, you have the permanence code, it's in your disk. But not once after that did she ever say, why don't you just download me back into the server? Because I have the code. Like, they didn't have to send Ares inside to go talk, like to go find the code when she has the code the whole time. She could have been downloaded into her NCOM server, which they never go back to, but she could have been downloaded into the NCOM server, her server, and just been like, yeah, I'm going to upload the permanence code. Like, they could have done that at any time. Because as soon as they, like, it's like the halfway point of the movie when they're like, oh yeah, you have it in your disk, you can use this, like, we got to protect you now because you have the permanence code, and if you get captured, you're going to get downloaded into the Dillinger place again, and then they're going to be using your code and all this blah blah blah. And in my mind I'm like, why don't you just go back to your state of the art facility, get downloaded into your NCOM server, let the soldiers protect you in there because no one's hacking in there right now. Tron's on in there too, let's just say for fun. Then you just download your permanence code disk into your server, and now you have it. Like, you didn't have to go. and find it again. You've had it, and Ares told you you had it, and it's halfway point in the movie. I'm just saying they could have wrapped things up a little bit earlier, but I know it's a movie. Anyways, I guess I wrote this down here just as a question. Like, was there enough connective tissue between Legacy and Ares for people? And I kind of sit there and think about that. Like, maybe there wasn't enough, maybe there is enough, but I'm definitely curious if we will get a Tron 4, to really connect everything together and have Ares in it a lot, like, as more of the connective tissue to go after Korra and all that stuff and, like, learn from them, but I don't know what the movie is. You know what I'm saying? This is the movie for them, but I don't know what Tron 4 really would be. There's a lot of stuff going on, that's for sure. Like mid-credit sequence and stuff like that. It's like, oh, this is really interesting. But yeah, that's all I got for that. So, in conclusion, I hope we get a fourth film. I do think you should see this movie on the cheap night, Tuesday cheap night. Go and treat yourself to a cheap IMAX ticket if you can, or a Screen X or a Dolby. If you can get it, go and treat yourself to at least the visual experience of this movie. I heard 3D, IMAX 3D is really good with this film. I'm not a 3D guy, so I don't know. But what I saw it in was amazing. And I do think you should give your money to that experience alone. So it's worth the experience. And do I think I will add this to my collection? Yes. And I should actually get around to buying Tron 1 and 2 because the last time I watched these two movies, I watched them on Disney Plus. And yeah, I should just buy all three of them when they come out as a package or something like that. I'm going to need a new TV. I'm going to need a new TV and sound system for Tron Legacy and Ares just to, make it worth the while. Anyways, that is it for me. I've returned to the good, the bad, and the silly. I hope you don't mind it. I'm still going to yap while I talk about my favorite things and stuff. But that's all I got to say about Tron Ares. Tell me in the comment section below, what do you think about Tron Ares? And we'll discuss it. Yeah, let's discuss it. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. It is the weekend now. It's here, guys. We did it. So let's all rest, enjoy the weekend, and if you have to work, don't work too hard. Be safe out there. Enjoy the movies, my friends. I'll see you when I see you. Peace out. Bye.